The board of the Humane Society of the United States decided Thursday to retain its longtime chief executive despite an investigation that has uncovered multiple harassment complaints against him, according to one of the board members and news media reports. The decision prompted several people on the board to resign, the board member said. A report in the Washington Post said that investigators had identified 3 complaints of sexual harassment against the chief executive, Wayne Paisley, and also found that senior female leaders claimed that their warnings about workplace misconduct had been overlooked. The allegations against Mr. Paisley, according to the Post's article, include complaints from a former intern who said Mr. Paisley had kissed her. Against her will in 2005, a former employee who said he asked to masturbate in front of her and offered her oral sex in a hotel room in 2006, and a former employee who said he stopped by her office late one night in 2012 and asked her to salsa dance with him. Mr. Paisley did not respond to a phone message from the New York Times on Thursday. He has denied all the allegations against him to the Post, calling the situation a coordinated attempt to attack me and the organization. "I absolutely deny any suggestion that I did anything untoward," he told the Post on Monday. In an interview late Thursday with the New York Times, Erica Brunson, a retired high-profile designer who serves on the Humane Society board, confirmed that members had talked by phone earlier in the day and decided to keep Mr. Paisley in charge. Ms. Brunson, 83, said she was aware only of what she called a ridiculous old accusation against him regarding an alleged affair. The CEO stays, and rightfully so, she said. "We're not an association that investigates sexual harassment. We raise funds for animals. Mr. Paisley has done nothing wrong," she added. Others with ties to the Humane Society apparently disagreed. The Post reported that 7 of its board members resigned following the decision to retain him. A contract lobbyist told the New York Times on Thursday that she would not continue to work for the organization, and a major donor said his foundation would not renew a $100,000 grant for the Humane Society. The chairman of the board, Eric L. Bernthal, told that donor in an email on Tuesday that the law firm investigating the allegations had interviewed more than 30 people. Mr. Bernthal said the investigation started in mid-December after an allegation was made about an episode about 13 years ago. The investigation became much more wide-ranging, and we, the board of directors, never restricted its reach, Mr. Bernthal wrote to the donor, Jim Greenbaum, who gave a $100,000 grant to the Humane Society last year. Mr. Bernthal said that the investigation and the board's review of the findings were disrupted when a memo by the law firm outlining what it had learned was leaked to the news media. "The only thing I believe we can do is finish up our work and reach a conclusion, based on the evidence that has been developed, promptly," Mr. Bernthal wrote. "That's our plan." In a statement posted on the Humane Society's website on January 25, Mr. Bernthal confirmed that the board had retained the law firm Morgan Lewis in December to conduct an investigation into allegations of workplace misconduct against Mr. Paisley. The statement said that a special committee of the board was overseeing the investigation and reviewing its findings. The organization's decision to begin an investigation was first reported by the Chronicle of Philanthropy. "We do not have information that can be shared regarding the investigation, its findings, or board actions at this time," the statement said. "We believe it is important to deal in substance and not rumors, and our process is designed to ensure confidentiality and fair consideration of these issues." Anna West, a spokeswoman for the Humane Society of the United States, said in an interview on Thursday night that the organization had no immediate comment on the Post's report. She said she could not detail the findings of the investigation, say whether the board had decided to retain Mr. Paisley, or confirm whether any board members had resigned as a result. A spokeswoman for Morgan Lewis did not immediately respond on Thursday night to a request for comment about the status of the investigation or its findings. The Humane Society lists 31 directors on its board. Attempts to reach 6 of the 7 members who the Post said had stepped down were unsuccessful. The 7th, Marcia R. Perlman, hung up when reached by telephone on Thursday night. One of the board members who could not be reached, Andrew Weinstein, posted a link to the Post story on his Facebook page, along with a brief message on Thursday night, which read, "I have resigned from the board of the Humane Society of the United States, effective immediately." Through a series of mergers, affiliations and corporate partnerships with other animal protection and animal care groups, Mr. Paisley is credited with building the Humane Society into the nation's 138th largest charity. The Humane Society had more than $210 million in net assets at the end of 2016, according to its latest nonprofit filings. Records also showed that Mr. Paisley received a base compensation in 2016 of more than $330,000. He has held his position as chief executive since June 2004, the organization's website says, while praising him for having driven transformational change for animals and spurred major growth for the organization. Rachel Pearman, a director at the Tofurkey Company in Oregon, said in an interview on Thursday night that she decided in November to email 30 of the Humane Society's board members after hearing from people who had accused Mr. Paisley of sexual harassment. Ms. Pearman, who has donated to the Humane Society, said allegations of sexual misconduct against Mr. Paisley had become an open secret among animal rights activists. Ms. Pearman said that she sent the email because she was concerned that the organization's executives were keeping the board members in the dark. Only one board member, Ms. Brunson, responded, "Are you out of your mind?" Ms. Brunson replied, according to a copy of the message, "Don't you have anything better to do in life than air your repressed sexual fantasies in public?" Ms. Brunson confirmed she sent the email, and said in an interview, which red-blooded male hasn't sexually harassed somebody. Women should be able to take care of themselves. We'd have no C.E.O.S. and no executives of American companies if none of them had affairs, she said. It's nonsense. No one else replied to her message, Ms. Pearman said. And in the 2 months since she sent the email, Ms. Pearman said she has heard from additional women who have made sexual misconduct allegations against Mr. Paisley, including another woman as recently as this week. Jennifer Fearing, who was the California Senior State Director for the Humane Society from 2006 to 2014, said she resigned on Thursday as a contract lobbyist for the organization because of the board's reported decision. Closing the investigation feels like a betrayal of trust, Ms. Fearing said in an email. I stand with the board members who resigned, and will not renew my relationship with the HSUS until there is a complete leadership change. The report of the board's decision also outraged some major donors to the Humane Society, who said on Thursday evening that they were no longer going to donate to the group. One of those donors was Mr. Greenbaum, who had exchanged emails with the board's chairman this week. On Thursday, he sent another one this time to tell him he would not renew his foundation's $100,000 grant. "It is a no-brainer situation," said Mr. Greenbaum, a retired telecom executive who now runs a philanthropy, the Greenbaum Foundation. "Paisley should be terminated immediately." He said he was disappointed by the board's decision and planned to urge friends who donated to the Humane Society to stop their donations as well.